Let's get the chat popped out. And let's get this thing going. All right. Good day, Omniacs. Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Testing, testing. You should be able to hear me on YouTube, Twitter, and the live trading room. Oh, how do I do that? I thought I change it just on YouTube alone, and it changes it everywhere. It still says test on X Dano. Doesn't say live AMAs with Oscar. All right. Let me call my buddy and see when he can come back. We have to fix that. That's just too much. I can't get to that spot. I've tried. Where's his number? Hmm. Hello. Hey, what's going on, man? What's doing? Oh, you're doing a UFC fight, huh? Wow, busy man. Oh, not much. If you find the moment you think you can come by, it's got a couple of little things that I can't straighten out. I can't figure out where to make changes. Like every time I start a live stream, it says test, and I don't know where that comes from. I can't figure out where to change it. So everything always looks like a test. Right. It like YouTube will just say test, and on Twitter it just says test. I can change it on YouTube, but I can't change it anywhere else because YouTube kicks it out that way when I first hit enter. Yeah, I've looked. I just can't seem to find it. I've looked everywhere. And the only other thing I can use after that is I want to see if we could get Facebook in. Yeah, last week we couldn't get it to work. I couldn't. I don't know why, but I think our heads will be a lot clearer this time. Yeah, sure. Whenever you got the time is good with me. Excellent. How's that? Hey, how was your 4th of July? Oh, okay. So you did the new kids, huh? Gotcha. So you were there for the fireworks display? That was bigger than usual. Gotcha. So it was all nine. Yeah, because that was a bigger show than usual. I was like, damn, we probably had the biggest show in the world. Yeah, they lit the bridge on fire. Macy's does it right. Well, thank you so much, man, and I'll see you in a couple days. Thank you. All right, he'll be here to fix that in a couple of days so that it never says test anymore. And we'll also get Facebook involved. Silver and gold. As you know, I've been no big fan of either. I've been no big fan of silver or gold this month. I'll show you the chart. You can see why. There's no reason to be a fan. Let's see. I think gold was here. Yeah, I mean, so you've had a little bit of a rally, but I just don't like gold here. Maybe it could go up to this red line. Maybe it can't even get that high. It would have to do a lot more to start becoming bullish again. And I think I have to get rid of this camera, don't I? Let me take care of this camera view and get that out of our way. All right. And it is not allowing me to mess with the camera at the moment. Why, I don't know. Okay, then. Guess the camera's going to sit there for a while until it allows me to click on it. Let's go look at the silver chart. And honestly, I cannot move this camera. This is kind of crazy. The whole background will move, but the camera is like frozen. Ah, there we go. So, silver. You know, just look at how ugly it is. Head and shoulders drops out. Bear flag hits the top of the flag, is now dropping lower. I have to say I don't like silver here. Just as I've been telling you guys for the last few weeks, silver and gold look pretty ugly to me. So when I start streaming, do you guys on in the trading room? Do you go over to YouTube to watch the charts, or do you not look at them? Let's see what ES is doing here. So, excuse me, ES sitting here. If you recall, last night we didn't have this red bar, right? We only had a green bar, so we were here, looking promising, and now not as promising, right? Because it's starting to not get above that top pennant line and falling back under it. We happen to have a good trade today. We got long. We made, I don't know, 20 points, 21 points in ES and hopped out. And that was about it. Sidestepped after that. But I don't like the fact that it's not getting above. Maybe tomorrow, we'll see. But so far, it's not getting above. NASDAQ, if you remember, was bouncing off the bottom of an apex, or I should say a pennant. Remember this from last night's video? Bouncing off the bottom of a pennant. But so far, got under it. It's trading above it right now. In other words, where it's trading at this moment is inside the pennant. So really no changes here. Kind of Tuesday nothing day, no changes to anything. YM, really no change here either. Just nothing happening right there. Maybe a flag, maybe not. We actually bought ES at around 72 to 67, so call it around 7567, 7572 ish. And then we got out at around 7586, and that was it for us. So yeah, today we bought somewhere between 72 and 67, wherever you got to fill. Hopped out somewhere near 86, and basically that's all we got out of the trade today. That was all she wrote. And where am I? I'm sitting over there. Soybeans again today, huh? Look at soybeans. I think soybeans is like on chart 8. Yeah, look at beans, huh? Another day up. I tried to get us long wheat today. This was our second trade. We were going to get long wheat. We just didn't get low enough to fill us, so we never got in. Really nothing happy going on in Bitcoin that makes me want to do anything more than keep the position I have, which is out of Bitcoin at the moment. We'll see. It's got to make some choices in between these two lines before I do anything. And how's this guy doing? Omni Phoenix doing great. Just keeps on moving. When people liquidate, others come in and buy them right up. So fantastic work for you Omniacs on this Omni token. Keep up the good work. Make sure you buy your Omni Phoenix at Phantom Wallet, Coinbase, Pump.Fun, you name it. Just go and grab it before we end up at 10 million and you will have missed your chance. And what else is going on out there? Bonds are down again. We don't need that. If you guys remember, we were looking at the bonds and I told you that this looks ugly and that's not going to help anybody. Let's see if we get the ZBU to show up. Look, I showed you this chart yesterday and said this looks like a little bear flag. Now we've fallen out of the bear flag. See that? And today in, poof. If you remember, I had trend lines on this yesterday. I was complaining that they changed the damn trend line thing on me and you got to go hunting for them now. If you remember. Lines, arrow, trend line, there you go. And I drew some trend lines on here and I said it looks like some kind of an F flag. Oscarism F flag, if you will. And out of that F flag, we have fallen. So it seems that we've fallen out of this F flag and heading down. When T-bonds go down, it makes interest rates go up. And clearly you can see that the stock market is starting to feel that already. Down 23, down 387, down 1290, make that 13, down 181. Transportation average is down 131. So bonds have been going down a few days, and we're starting to get a reaction from the stock market. Usual. These are things that happen. Something must have happened in the Middle East because when I was up at about 5 in the morning, the Straits monitor showed the Middle East, the Strait was closed. Crude oil's gone up today. Stock market's gone down. Does anybody know what the crazy news is going on in the Straits right now? Now I'll show you the straight monitor. It's definitely was closed this morning. We'll see if it reopened or not. That should be here. Let's look. That's not here. Straights monitor. Where are you, buddy? Okay, it's not there. Hmm. And here it is, kids. Straight monitor. Closed. Nothing moving at the moment. See closed up here? So whatever's going on in the Middle East is also affecting a little bit of our market movement today. Oh, a ship was hit? Thank you, MC. I didn't know what was going on there. So Iran attacked the ship that was going through the harbor. Why don't we just take that straight from them? Why do we let them keep doing this? You know, what we got to do is make the strait 500 miles wider. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll leave it alone. They won't be close enough. It just doesn't make sense to let them keep doing this to the world. It's not like they're attacking just U.S. or just any one country. They do this to anyone in the world. Someone's got to take this straight from them. Solana's still holding well at 82.50, huh? Let's go look at that. Solana should be here. That's not Solana. I missed. It's 30-year bonds. How'd that end up on here? It used to be Solana. Let's put Sol back on here. Yes, Solana. Let me move my stupid camera out of the way. And Solana's still looking pretty decent. And the fact that our Omni token's built on Solana, you gotta love what you see in here. It's a nice look to it so far. You know, they've been doing a run on coffee and cotton. They take turns. You can see it in the charts. They've been taking turns with both of them. And it's cotton, July, September, October. You got to go all the way to December. Look at cotton. Oof. So when they're not messing with cotton, they go over to coffee. That's coffee twice, isn't it? ECTZ. That's cotton. Cotton's starting to go now. See, they're pushing coffee down. Cotton goes up. They seem to be messing around with the both of them. Not quite as spreads, though. Just messing around with them both. Let's see if we can label this guy. Look at how far they have run it. Look at this thing. Up, 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 up. Pull back. And now we're starting again. If you remember, a year ago they did it with cocoa. If you remember, coming back here, well, okay, probably have to do it on a weekly. See what a weekly will look like. Maybe not today. Okay, the choices for weekly are just not appearing. Ah, there we go. That's what they did to cocoa. Look at that. It went from like nothing all the way up to 12,500. Crazy move in cocoa. And then, of course, people start creating ways of coming up with cocoa, whether synthetic or finally the trees that they planted 5 years ago are producing, and we came back down. But coffee, sugar, cocoa has been on the run. um, did you get there? Let's look. TTWO hit the double top, huh? Let's look at that. Take two. Where's my other take two chart? This isn't the right one. No, that's not it. We gotta find another one. That's it. Look at that, huh? You went right to that double top. Yeah. When you see a double top, you sell a double top unless it stops becoming a double top. So I'm not gonna tell you not to sell that. Now, of course, there's a big fundamental involved, right? They're releasing a big game, but a double top's a double top. That is definitely a double top, sir. Is that game still 1-0? I hear it, but I don't see it. Yeah, it's definitely a double top, sir. Be careful up there. Oh, still 1-0. So, anything else talking to us today? Let's see. Tesla got slapped back down again after running up pretty strong yesterday. Live cattle, live hogs, lean hogs. What on earth happened to all these guys? LEQ. I don't think Q would still be as active. I guess it is. Did he score? 2-0. 2-0. Let's go look at the LEQ 26. Those are the meat markets, huh? It's starting to come down a little bit. Who else? Let's look at the live cattle. Let's go look at live cattle. That didn't work, huh? Why didn't that symbol work? Let's go look and see why it didn't work. Oh, it's 2 C's. LCCQ. Gotcha. Let's put that in. And switch that to the daily. Oh, yeah. The meat market's coming off a little bit. That's nice to see. It's live cattle right there. We need that. We need the markets to come down a little bit. The meat markets have been expensive. Hey, Thrive. What's doing? Oh, they're reviewing the goal, huh? I didn't quite understand what he said, but I think they removed the goal. Yep, they removed the goal. Yeah, I see they took the goal away. Imagine that, huh? Why am I not hearing you guys? What is going on here? Test. Who votes that we should take the straight away from these unstable hands? I mean, this is just crazy, isn't it? This is not right. No one should have the power to hold the world hostage. We should just take this from them. I mean, seriously? We've been sitting around playing with them over there instead of just taking that straight. Just gonna check some dates on here. Registrations and filings. What's my date here? August 31st, due date. August 31st due date. July 28th. Let's return. Okay. I'm watching the game over the wall. Don't like it. Yeah, my view on gold, it just doesn't look very good here. It doesn't look healthy. It's right here. If you're looking at the screen, you know, that gold chart just doesn't look pretty. It's not going in the right direction by any means. The only person that would ever look at this and think it's bullish is someone stuck long with confirmation bias in their brains, making them see a downward chart looks bullish for some reason. You know what I mean? Barring that, there's nothing bullish about this. Same thing with silver. There's nothing bullish about silver. Just nothing. Oh, we got you. You is a better chart. Nothing bullish about silver at all. Ugly, ugly, ugly. So that's my opinion, sir. Now that's for shorter term trading. Even for a longer approach, this just looks terrible. I'd be looking for down anyway. First of all, silver doesn't belong up here. It got sent up here because it exploded, because it was being artificially held down for 45 years. So it finally did its mushroom cloud. I think silver's a $45, if that, commodity. We'll see. You know, if you mine for copper, if you mine for gold, if you mine for zinc, if you mine for aluminum, if you mine for a lot of metals, you know what you get? Free silver. It's like the natural gas of metals. You know, like if you're shelling for crude, you get free natural. Well, if you're mining for almost any other metal, you end up with free silver. There's a lot of silver. Hamid, the country is not, gold has nothing to do with us except for that it's a commodity that we trade. It's not wrapped up in our finances. It doesn't back our dollar. We don't use it to back other things. In other words, we don't even use the equity we have in the gold. We just trade it, we collect it. It's not what it used to be. So people being long or short gold doesn't really matter to the economy at all. It's just if there's less supply than demand, it goes up. If there's more supply than demand, it goes down. It's literally a supply demand market. It's just another commodity. Oh, they just scored again? Or did they put the score back? Shh, Tucker. Stop asking questions that are unanswerable. You're going to get us all in trouble. Shh. Why do you think they stopped looking? You notice that they, when Trump first got in office, they started looking at everything, and they were going to show us all the gold in the world, in the vault, and then they decided to just quietly walk away from that one. Yeah, because we don't. How about we just all be quiet on that one? You know what I mean? Nobody needs to know the U.S. doesn't have all the gold that they say they have. The whole world will have a panic. So We have plenty of it in there. There's more than we'll ever need. Don't worry. Don't you worry about it, Tucker. What do I think about the Dow 30? Well, I think of all the indices charts, it's the most stable looking. The Dow 30 is this guy right here. It's the most stable. That is the best look of your indices charts. Because if you look at this, nothing in this would tell you to do anything more than buy dips. It's a wonderful looking market. ES, slightly different, but not scary by any means. Right? ES isn't. So, what you're seeing in this area is what the YM is doing right now. You know what I mean? The YM's pulling one of these guys. And ES is taking a bit of a breather. So the YM looks to be about the best chart. So yes, Tucker, we're supposed to just forget about that gold. Shh, mum's the word. Now, I think that whole Fort Knox thing, that's been going on literally since Lincoln, us not having the exact amount of metals we claim. However, we do have it in the ground and plenty of it, so we could get it out of the ground and match what we say we have if we had to. We do have plenty in the ground. So we do have it. Just I don't know that it's in vaults. Mega, our government doesn't lie. They say we have X amount of tons of gold in the vault. We do. That's that. There's no falsehood there. You're supposed to just believe, Mega. No questioning things. We don't question the government. We do as we're told. Oh, it's absolutely a valid argument. We have tons of it in the ground. If we need it, we'll yank it. We'll put it where it belongs. We do have the silver and gold, especially silver. We got more of that than we'll ever need forever and ever and ever. So that isn't really an issue. We do have it. We will get it if they need to. If they collect upon it, we'll hand it over to them. Mega says, I want to see how many solid bricks and gold spray paint I can buy from Home Depot. Interesting question from Hamid. What's your trading style and execution time frame, and do you use session timing? My session timing is 24 hours a day from Sunday night to Friday night. It's one long session as far as I'm concerned. We get little breaks for an hour, but it's just one long session. And my time frame is, one trade, two trades a day. We don't scalp. I don't think scalping from a desk is possible over time. You can do it today and tomorrow and next week. Can you scalp successfully from a desk over 2 years? Nah, it's not happening. So we don't scalp. We swing trade the day's movement. Basically, is what we do. That is supposed to be true, Ben, and I think we've all seen proof that the vaults are connected from JPM and the Fed not quite connected, but they're downstairs and they can just move it around. In fact, I think I was there. I think I seen that when I was in DC. They did the same thing in the Netherlands as well. I was in their exchange where they were showing where gold literally would be brought down an elevator, across a platform, and put into another vault to make at the end of each day to make sure everybody's gold was in the right places. I don't know that we move anything around anymore. I think we just use entrance into a ledger. The gold was in this account, now it's in that account. I don't know that we physically move it as much as we used to. It's $50 per point. So to make it simple, you buy S&P at 75.01, buy, and then if you sell it, that won't work. 'How do I answer that? Do I use signal day or end day trading? I wait till the end of each day to get a new signal because I don't know what signal I should be looking for until the market closes, and then it tells me where it closed, and then I know if it was up, down, sideways. Because you could have a market down all day long, and 5 minutes before the close, it goes up and settles higher. So I wait for the close every day to decide what tomorrow might bring. Oops. 7501 to 7502. So if we made 21 points, can you do the math on that? How much money did we make? You should be saying 1050. Are you saying that? So did they give them that goal back or did they score a second goal? I can't. The only way to see the TV for me is to do this. So how'd they get that second goal back on their scoreboard? A new goal, thank you. Well, it was a shame watching the U.S. just collapse yesterday. They just looked like they were a high school soccer team playing a pro team. They didn't know what to do. They were freezing at certain points when they were coming up to the ball, looking at each other like, "Who's going to take it? Are you going to take it? No. How about you?" I was like, "Boy, what happened to their composure?" It was a terrible game last night. They barely even tried to play that game. Oh, I agree. I agree that they collectively played unaggressively. I don't know what the bug was in their head. This is fight or flight, right? You either win or you go home. They weren't playing like it was win or go home. They were playing like we have plenty of chances to end up in this tournament. Hammond says I shorted Dow Jones today in the New York session. Good move so far. Yes, sample, but how cool is it on this planet that we have a president that can make a phone call and get a guy put back into a soccer game? I mean, come on, that is cool. I'm not saying it was good, but it was cool. Yeah, if I make the TV loud enough to hear it, I'll get copyrighted by YouTube. I actually have to leave it this low. Oh, there's the goal. There you go. Headshot. Yeah, I didn't think it was fair that we got our player put in, but I thought it was so cool that you could actually have something like that done. You know what I mean? It was like every other world leader is jealous right now. You can't just call and get a guy put back in a FIFA game. Trump can. It was pretty cool. Was it legal? Well, that's another story, but it was cool. Although I will admit, throwing him out for what they threw him out for was total bullshit. They were doing that just to handicap the U.S. team. If you saw it live and you watched the replays, how could you have blamed the guy from stepping on his heel? He was landing on the ball moved, and he stepped on his heel. Throwing him out for that was bullshit to begin with, I have to say. But I did say that at the game. I didn't realize he was going to be reinstated. But during the game, I kept complaining about them giving him a red card and booting him. I said, you know what? Those are the refs trying to handicap the U.S. team, so when they play next, they got a less player, or their best player can't play. So I think that was on purpose, got to be honest. The reinstatement was kind of cool. Yeah, that's why I was showing you the meat markets. It's finally starting to come down a little bit. But yes, beef, pork, they've been expensive for the last couple of years. I'm with you on that, Sean, no doubt. You know why, right? They keep consolidating. It's big farms buy up the little ones. It's nothing left basically now but a few little farms and a few big farms. So once the big farm is consolidated, it's supposed to make prices cheaper, right? A little farm can't cut prices like a big farm operation could. So the big farm operation buys up the little farm and prices don't go down. You know, when there's profit to be made. On the other side of that, do you realize how hard it is to keep to be a farmer and keep those animals alive so that we on this planet get to eat them? So that there's a meal, so that you go to the supermarket and you can go buy something and you can cook it at home. That work is nonstop, 24/7. There are no holidays, there are no days off, there are no sick days. Those animals need to be taken care of at all times. That is a big job. Big job. I don't really follow the TXRH sample. It's not usually on my radar. Did they just score? They sure the hell did. Is it 2-2? All right, I start paying attention to this game. All right, this might get me. This might get me in trouble with YouTube, but I'm gonna turn up the volume so I can see this. It's the 83rd minute. It's 2-2. I'm listening to the damn game. Nice, nice goal. Two, huh? How exciting is this? Why not just try and score? Why just hold on, boys? This is flight. This is fight or flight, man. This is go home if you don't win. Oh boy. So you think if Trump makes a call, the USA team could still stay in the FIFA? Come on, Trump, make a call. We want the U.S. team to stay in the World Cup. What do you think? Ben, you're wondering, am I in the 7K before 8K camp? It's mid-year. Gotta be honest, either side can be seen, but by the end of the year, it'll be 8K, not 7K. I mean, you have enough time to literally trade down to 7,000 and up to 8,000 before the year ends. But I say that we slowly work our way to 8,000, 8,050, even the S&P. So if you put a gun to my head, I'm on the 8K side over the 7K side. Your grandfather taught you to win like a gentleman and lose like a gentleman. Yeah. Anybody's dad or any coach should teach that to you. That should be instilled. You win like a gentleman, you lose like a gentleman. I'm with you on that, Tucker. What do you got for us, Riddick? What you got for us, Dano? Come on, gentlemen. 2-2. Somebody's got to score before the 90, whatever minute. I don't know how much time they're adding to the game. Yep. He definitely tore him down. Oh, boy. Argentina gets the kick. Oh! Can't see what minute this is. 89th minute, kids. Yeah, it's Tucker Carlson speaking to me. Absolutely. He's in my trading room, Sean. Tell him, Tucker. You're Tucker Carlson, right? Did he get fired or what happened to him recently? He got booted, right? Stolen. Nice takeaway. 7 minutes added on. You know, the problem with the shootouts is everybody else on that team, they work so hard to get there, and then it's really up to the goaltender whether you win the game or not. So a little bit, everybody gets a little slighted there when it ends up coming down to kicking, you know, the shootouts. Because all that work you did for the last hour and a half, and now it's up to just the goaltender to decide if you win or lose the game. It's not like you can all be standing in that goaltending. So I think it's a little bit sucks to the rest of the team when you end up in a shootout. Oh, another score. Very nice. That was fantastic. Now, what do we have? 5 minutes left? Nice. Problem with auditing the Fed, Sean, is once the Fed isn't independent anymore, what do you do with them? Then they no longer get to do the job that they've been doing for the last 150 years or whatever the number is. They've been doing it. Well, it really hasn't been that long, to be honest. Um, but they've been doing a great job, the Fed. I mean, I know people have things to say that just don't understand what the hell they're talking about. The Fed's been doing a great job for all these years. If you think of all the different things they've saved us from, they've done a pretty good job. I say you leave the Fed alone. Let them just keep doing what they do. We don't audit the Fed. Not unless they do something that really requires an audit. T-bonds pressing towards the lows. That's not going to help our stock market even slightly. Today is Tuesday. Boys, this is your last minute. You don't catch up, you go home. All right, so we're past the 7 minutes, so we're at it now. Bet you once they do one more push towards the net, they'll blow a whistle for the game. Yellow card, the last minute, huh? He didn't actually do anything. I don't really know what the hell just happened at that conversation, but whatever. Let's go. That's it. Oh. That's it. That's it. Game over. Wonder where all that extra time comes from. We got to minute 101. This golf looks like it's getting ugly here. Yes, it is. Messy Mania, huh? It's got a name. I like it. Thank you. Another ludicrous game of football. This World Cup. And by the way, that Enzo Fernandez winner, the 31st goal in second half stoppage time at this World Cup. Lexi Lopez, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Thierry Henry watching on. Alexi, I'll start with you. Congratulations to Argentina, but Egypt will feel aggrieved, will they not, with the way it happened with that winner? Let me lower this. I'm sure YouTube's already beating me up for making the sound of those. So what is all of that to? Well, all right then. Kind of a boring day, right? Not much going on here today, as far as markets are concerned. They're moving, but nothing crazy today. No, it's chart 20. I think I want to look at. Yes, still there. Um, you know, I won't know until I get an omni signal market neutral. He's saying, is this turnaround Tuesday? Can't tell. Is there a timestamp? How do we know when people on YouTube type timestamps? There is a timestamp. Excuse me. Um, so did I ever look into Nikkei? It's I have to. It's just so bad. Yes. NKEU 26, I believe, is Nikkei on this machine. Should be it. You know, it's probably the best we've seen this Japanese market in a long time. It doesn't look great, but it did just fill a gap here. See the gap that was just filled? Filled. So you got a gap filled, which is good, but I have nothing to say about Japanese market. Not in the last 25 years. Just looks so wrong. It looks like it's spelled wrong. So, two ways to look at this. It filled the gap, which maybe it was trying to do. And is this some kind of a flag? Something weird going on here? You know what I mean? Is there something happening there after filling that gap? Gotta have to admit, it's been so long since I even messed with anything Japanese. I used to trade it every day of my life. Bringing back some 90s memories here. Of course, I haven't studied it in so long, I'm going to just say no opinion. And yes, I could look at silver, but we've looked at this a few times today. Silver just looks terrible. This is a bear flag right here. That's a bear flag. Just hit the top of it, starting to react towards the downside. That doesn't look good at all. Dollar index on the opposite side of that, looking pretty darn strong. Let's get some of these lines out of the way. That is a pretty good look to it, right? We'll just leave this top line there just for visual. Doesn't really mean anything. So, looking at the dollar, you see the pattern? Can anyone spot the pattern on this dollar without me even pointing it out? Can you see the pattern on the dollar? You asked me to look at the dollar. Do you see the pattern? What moving average is on that silver chart? Let me just see if, let me finish with this dollar chart. So, what it seems to be doing is exactly that, putting in some kind of a weird this every time before it goes up. Look, it does this just about every time, and then it goes up again, right? And then you can take this and put it this way, and it does this, right? You got this weird thing here, top and bottom, and it goes back up again. And look what we have now. So that seems to be a pattern in the dollar. And AN wanted to know what I was looking at on my silver chart. That average isn't made for the silver chart. That average is just hanging around for the S&P NASDAQ charts. Look. See, that was meant for this. I'm just putting charts on top of a chart that's got an average sitting out there doing nothing. So the green average meant nothing on the silver chart. And then if you look at NASDAQ, same thing. That average, over here, that average works on the NASDAQ as well, but it doesn't really seem to do much for silver. And as you see, the question you asked me about the silver, see that average doesn't do anything. It just sits there meaningless. It doesn't need to be there. Oh, so interesting. I can't actually do a chart presentation in the Omni room, so everyone's looking at charts on my YouTube channel. Let me see if I got a link for you. YouTube was my channel. Really? It gives me every choice but channel unless you click it twice. There's your link. So while I'm presenting charts, for whatever reason, the design of my chat room never allowed it to do a live presentation, but you can do a live presentation on YouTube if you use streaming software from another company, but you can get it to happen, you know. The only thing I can't do is I can't broadcast charts in the trading room. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, then where's the peck of pickled pepper Peter Piper picked? Maybe I can get that right and then I can speak again. What else are we looking at? Is there anything else noteworthy? No, just these barns. It's getting worse by the minute. Not helping. This is, you're watching this is interest rates going up. No Fed necessary, no chairman necessary, nobody's necessary. This automatically makes interest rates go up. No, and I didn't. I I commissioned the room. Some of the bells and whistles that I commissioned were not programmed in because the person that I've used to program this isn't the easiest person on the planet to work with. Um, so we get what we can out of them because there are not many alternatives to chat rooms that work in the way this one does, that doesn't involve a third party. Biggest problem that I've had with YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, is that these markets run 24 hours a day and I never need to not be up and running. So the chat room I had created, so it is my software sitting on my server, and it doesn't matter what happens to the world. If the internet is up and the markets are open, so am I. If Twitter goes down, if anything goes down at all, third party software that I might use to create this Omni and present this, then I'm at their mercy, not at the market's mercy. I'm set up to be at the market's mercy. So I have millions of dollars of equipment that I've built over the years that is just 100% ours, purposely so that if something does break, we can fix it like that and not have to be wishing that we could speak to a human at a company where you only get emails and bots. I just don't need that as a trader who's being responsible for other traders. So the chat room was built with all the bells and whistles I had asked for, except for a few. One of them would be, of course, presenting charts in the trading room. Now, I can drop a chart in the trading room with no trouble at all. In other words, I can just click this, save it, boom. Save as, make sure it's in documents. I'll just give it a name, today's date, and see. This way I know which one to go find. Now I could just literally come over to the trading room and say, drop that chart in the trading room for me, and it'll happen in a moment. And boom, there's your chart right there in the trading room. But it won't be a live session. It'll just be a chart. But yes, there's a thing about being a market trader and being at the mercy of other software, and I am not that guy. I've got 3 different data feeds coming in here. If this program in Chicago goes out of business, I've got another program belting it out from Utah, another program from New York. Somebody's going to give me quotes, right? So we got that covered. The software that I use, I had built myself, so I am in conjunction with a company. So I'm in conjunction, close relationship with them. Don't have much to worry about with that relationship. And everything else is custom built by my programmers over the last 25, 30 years so that we don't rely on anybody's anything. So if the markets are open, so am I. How's Tesla going? Tesla looks pretty darn good. The white leather seats are not terrible. You just gotta watch. I think you gotta watch the type of detergent you use on jeans and those white seats in the Tesla. If you use the right detergent, the seats don't turn blue. If you use the wrong detergent, you end up with blue on your white leather seats, and you got to clean them off. But it comes nice and clean. Besides, it's my wife's car. I had to buy a white interior. It looks pretty. It's white on white. So Tesla, the stock, is doing pretty good as well. Let's go see if we can spot that. Tesla, where are you? Look what happened at TTWO. Hey, Sample, where are you? Look what happened at TTWO. It dropped immediately from the double top and cracked. Interesting. When we see a double top, come on, who's got the answer for this? When we see a double top, we sell a double top. Proof right there. We looked at that this morning and yesterday and the day before. All right, so let's go look at Tesla. One of these guys is going to be a Tesla chart. Tesla. So, as you can see, it's not my opinion, it's the opinion of Wall Street. If you are above the blue average, it's safe to be long. If you are below the blue average, you'd rather be short or out. It works all the way across. So whatever that is, we're below the average right now, but look, we're at it. Right now, it's trading right here at 419. That's just a little bit above the average. Funny you say that, because I was in her car last night, and I said, honey, this car has to go to the car wash tomorrow. And she said, why? I said, well, we have 3 cars in front of the house. One belongs to me, one belongs to Mikey, one belongs to you. Have you ever seen 2 of those 3 cars dirty ever? Guys like clean cars. We keep our cars clean. So, yes, that car needs to be cleaned. I wanted to do it today. We'll see if I get the time. But I don't clean it myself because the water here, if you try to clean a car with the water in Vegas, it ends up looking worse than when you started cleaning it. In other words, we get white calcium all over everything. So you can't really clean a car yourself. You got to take it to a car wash that uses well water. You know, anywhere from 19 to 45 for an okay wash, and then if you want it detailed, you could pay 80 to 125. It's not bad, to be honest. I have a guy that, get this, I have a guy who chooses, by choice, to live in his truck with his dog and his wife, and he basically does cars for a living, but, he details your car. And this guy will show up in his house truck, pull up in front of your house, get out and clean your cars. He cleans the engines, he cleans the trunk, he cleans everything. Although I haven't seen him in a while, he could use a call. Getting my car clean is cheaper than a drink in a casino. Yeah, I'd have to say, I'd have to agree with you on that. Yes, it's cheaper to get my car clean than a drink in a casino. I guess with the tip, it's about the same as a cheap drink. He must have been a divorce attorney in his previous life. These are good questions, and I dig it. You've been paying attention, huh? He's been listening to the Panther. So I have to agree. I like everything Elon Musk has built so far. Um, I love his idea behind helping humanity. I love the fact that we're getting to see a modern day inventor like the ones we've all studied and read about, the Edisons, and there's just things that we're seeing in our lifetime. It's like Ben Franklin with his kite, but we're seeing this in our time. That's the coolest thing about Tesla, if you ask me. My wife's car is cool. I mean, it's got some rules. Well, it's got a lot of rules, to be honest. I'm not big on rules. I've been working for myself since I'm 20, 21. I'm just not big on rules. I don't like being told what to do. The Tesla kind of tells you what to do in some areas. It even has a moment where you can't drive it for an hour while it updates, and that's it. You can't drive it during that hour, whether there's a guy with his gun to your head or not. You know what I mean? Someone breaks in your house and you try to go away, the Tesla's not moving for an hour because that's that. It's got some rules. I don't like rules. Yeah, you're right. He should be selling drinks out of the back of his truck for half price. He'd make more than cleaning cars. Cooler full of ice, as long as it's ice from a well. Get a cooler full of ice. Open up the back of the truck. Put the flip it down the pickup truck so that you can sit on it. Put drinks out there and put a bunch of bottles. Tell people $10 a drink. You make a fortune. They'll be lining up in front of your truck. All right. One thing we haven't looked at yet is what was the story this morning on the bombing. I haven't seen any of it. So the strait we know was closed, right? What did Iran do now? How about we just ask that? Let's just ask that. All right, we know about that. Top stories. 2 days, 1 day. None of this matters. All right, they're all having their funeral. I get it. I saw that on TV. And it doesn't really say anything about what they did. But we know the strait's still closed. Let's refresh and be sure. Yep, still closed. Red line closed. Yeah, I wanted to read about it, but as you see, there was nothing in the bias news. So, one of the things that I've always been able to maintain, why I still have friends on the internet, is I never bring politics into trading because it almost one almost has nothing to do with the other in some ways, believe it or not. And they create the volatility that gives us the opportunity. So I like all of them for that reason. The rest of it, I mean, they're all crazy. They're crazy on both sides. Every now and then you get one side that looks a little better than the other until they go crazy and then you hate them and you bring up the other side. Till they go crazy and you hate them and you bring up the other side. We do that every 48 years. Barring that, I just use it to figure out good year, bad year, up year, down year. I don't really get much involved in it. I mean, I'm not a politician. I am not. I'm not willing to run for assemblyman, congressman, you name it, work my way up the ladder and go into that cesspool and fight. I'd rather fight the market, so I just stay out. Um, so, of course, but there is political wrangling and there is political undertones. There are political undertones like them shooting something in Iran and what's the president going to do about it now that create this insanity. But I'm never, ever trying to argue for either of the sides. I mean, I believe in what I believe in, which is what my eyes see, what I think is supposed to be my version of normal is what I believe in. We all have our versions of normal. I'm assuming my version of normal wouldn't seem normal to you when you look at your version of normal. But I look at things in a way where what seems normal to me, and I, will vote for that side if they seem semi-normal. But that's about it. I kind of just stay out of politics. I like markets much better. But as far as dealing with Iran, you, so you do realize that there's a certain way to handle certain types of beings, and they will respond much better to being handled in that way. If if you've ever dealt with people from the Middle East, depending upon where, you got to watch the country: Iran, Iraq, Pakistan. Don't know if we're calling it the Middle East or not, but close enough. Um, I guess we are half of it. Um, there's a certain type of attitude that you have to have with them. That it's the only attitude that they'll actually show respect to. So I'm going to give you an example. I had a company call me from Pakistan, 2001, so 1995, 96. They said, Oscar, we've heard about you. We found your website on the internet. I've only had one out for 2 years. They found me. And we want to test you to see if you can handle our business. All right, what kind of business is that? Well, we're going to open up some trading accounts. We're going to trade those accounts often. And this is back in the day where you had to make phone calls. The internet was too new. No exchanges wanted to even hear about it at the time. So the only way to place orders was to make phone calls. I happen to own a trading desk. I own a brokerage firm, Futures Analysts and Traders Inc. And people call there and place orders all day and night long. Those orders get sent down to the trading floor, and so I'm a broker. While I do the other stuff, I worked on the trading floor and was a broker in my home office. So when I got home, I had a night business. I ran all night long. Somehow got through that, got ready for the morning, went to the trading floor, did that madness all day long, came home and ran my IB, introducing broker, all night long. So I've got these Pakistani customers trying me out. And they call at night all night long, and it's always yelling. I got a bad fill. I got that. Why did you give me a bad fill, Oscar? I'm going to sue you. And they're always yelling. Always yelling. They're right. So Americans, we're sort of taught in a way where, to an extent, until they step out of line, the customer's always right. You give them some leeway. You let them always feel right. They step out of line too far, you put them back in place, but customer's always right. Well, that's a U.S. mindset, right? We always try to, it's the company's culture to make sure that the customers are happy in the U.S., right? So our job is to take bullshit a lot of times on the phone and roll our eyes, not let them know we're rolling our eyes. You take the bullshit, you keep the customer happy. So they're testing me out because they want to give me a $5 million account. Back in the 90s, it's a pretty big size account, and I will certainly do well for my brokerage firm if they complete the deal. So they're going to test me for a few years, and they're calling me. 3 in the morning. Don't mind, because back then it was $50 a round turn for a one lot trade. And they'd call me and buy fives. Buy five this, buy five that. I'm getting $250 every time I answer the phone. It takes me a minute and a half. It's good money. You know what I mean? So, of course, the clearing firm gets their share, and the NFA and CFTC and the floor, and then and I end up with $1. But it's business. So I'm doing my business at night. These guys, anyone else that calls at night is as nice as can be always. Hey, Oscar, I know it's 3 in the morning. Are you up? Of course I'm up. This is what I do. What do you got? Oh, I want to get in silver or sugar. I place the orders for them. Pakistan calls. It's okay. I deal with it because they're not saying anything to me. They're just the way they behave. They just yell a lot. We finally reach 4 years deep. Somehow they didn't get on my nerves too much. They seem to like me. And they're saying, Oscar, this is it. By the end of this month, if you continue to what you do, if you continue what you're doing, we're going to move the whole $5 million account over to you. You get the whole company's business. Great. I've been working on this for 3.5, 4 years now, dude. You better give it to me. I get a call about 4 in the morning, usual trading. Oscar buy this, Oscar buy that. And this time, they don't like the fill and they are screaming at me and screaming at me. It's 4 in the morning. I don't really need their business. I wouldn't mind adding it. I don't need these guys. You know what I mean? So I went, what? What did you just say to me? Because I think he threw a curse at me or some kind of a slur. I said, you know what? This is the last thing you're ever going to hear from me again. You want to hear a sound? Because it's the last effing sound you're ever going to hear from me again. And I slammed the phone down and just walked away. These guys have never been treated that way in their lives. They called me back 5, 6 times. Every time they called back, I'd slam the phone down. 7th phone call, I go, what? And they go, Oscar, quarter hoffies, we love you. This is why we love you. This is why we're giving you all our business. Do you know why? Because you're a fighting American. You fight back. You just told us to go F ourselves. You got the account. That's how I got the account. Because I told them off, told them to go F themselves, and I hung up on them. That is the same mentality that our president has to deal with. You cannot negotiate. You can't say, ooh, please, sorry. You got to go, F you, buddy. And they understand. They get that. So, what happens next? They send the $5 million in, just like they promised. And it was on a Friday afternoon. And Saturday and Sunday went by with me skipping and hopping and jumping because I can't wait to start doing their business. Monday morning, I went in, made sure the $5 million was in their account. Now, when they trade, I'd stand to make 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month on this. It's a good account to add to the rest of them. I come in Monday, I check their account, everything looks good. I come in Tuesday, it's September 11th, and the trade centers get hit. Their money's gone, locked up in the system. No one knows where it is. No one knows where anything is. 3 months later, the feds contact me, told me they were able to find the money, got it back in the account. Pakistanis got their money back, and they never spoke to us again. I never spoke to them again. I just know that when they were calling, they were going, where's that money? And I would go, where's that money? You know, many of these fucking hijackers came from your part of the country, your part of the world. Where's that money? And I would hang up on them. How dare you even call me? You'll get it back when we find it. We can't find the money because of your people. Well, but I did 5 years of business. Then September 11th blew that up on me. And I had a lot of money sitting in a bank in one of my boxes. Got mushed in the trade centers. My off the floor business got destroyed, which wasn't even in Manhattan, but my phones were. The phone center I used was in Manhattan, WorldCom. They were out of business for months. I didn't have phones back, so my IB got destroyed on Staten Island. My business got destroyed in the exchange. Boy, that was bad for me. That was just bad. Whew, whew. That was bad. I don't know how I ended up here, but that was bad. Yep, that was definitely a path altering moment when the trade centers got hit. You know, markets are not allowed to be closed legally for more than 3 days. That's it. 3 days, that's it. Do not close for more than 3 days. That's the law. Markets were closed for 6, going on 7 days. We were all getting phone calls. Please come in. Please come into the exchange. One of the buildings didn't get hit, the NYMEX building. Go to work. When we go to work, the trade centers are still burning. You got to come in. We came in every morning, and I kid you not, the trade centers was a big black burning pit. I came in every morning and walked around that pit, walking through, looking for people on my way across the pit to the other side where I could go into the building to the NYMEX to start the markets up because we had to get the markets going. We had to start them. The world was going nuts. There were no markets. We had to go in. So I went through every day. I walked around that crater looking for people on my way. And then about a month later, they came up with a ferry that would take us from the Staten Island ferry around the hook of Manhattan along the side in between Jersey and Manhattan and drop us off at the building by ferry so we could stay away from the trade centers. And I will admit, my nose must have ran for the next 10 years. I couldn't control that. I had something wrong in my chest. Lasted until about 3 years ago. It finally stopped. So I think I got a little. I think I got beat up a little bit from that. Actually, I you can buy one of these. I mean, I have these in shirts. The problem with me is everybody who works for me says, Oscar, you'll always be poor. Why? Because you give everything away. So I had shirts and mugs and mouse pads made, and then instead of selling them to people, I would give them away in contests. First, the person who calls the market right wins. The first person who calls me wins. Blah blah blah. And then here's what happens. Maybe I spend a few thousand to buy the stuff. Then I realize it's costing me between $9 and $30 every time I send one for free to someone who won it for free on top of what I spent on the product. And I went, maybe I should stop selling these. I don't sell anything. I just give stuff to people. So the people who work with me would love for me to sell this stuff, but I don't know how. I don't know how to sell things to my fans and my friends. I only know how to give them stuff when it comes to things like this. You know what I mean? I can't see you sending me $10 for this and me sending it to you. It's just a business, and I'm supposed to do that. But I look at it and go, if you just the fact that you want one, you can have it for free. That's my take on things. You know what I mean? It's like athletes charging for an autograph or something of that nature. Really? You would consider even somewhere in your brain you'd even think about charging for that? So I'm more the type that just gives my shit away. Listen, Rossi Angel, I have friends that have had 5 surgeries, that have had all kinds of cancer from this. Most of my friends who only showed up to visit me once or twice got cancer from the trade centers. I was there every day. Pound on my chest, baby. All I got was a bad xyphoid and a runny nose. I was worried when I watched them getting chopped up. I was wondering when my time was coming, but there's a God above. I think He wants to let me keep helping people around the world. Thank you, sir. I'll keep helping people around the world. Um, so one way says I'm a humble trader, which is rare. You know what I am? If we were going to war and I was the general, I would be in the trench at the front of the line with all my soldiers. Even though I was the general, I'd be shoulder to shoulder with the boys, and we'd be taking on fire together. That's just my way. When I worked on the trading floor, I was the same way. I was one of the boys. I was one of the clerks. Even though I was the guy with the badge who went in the ring and did the business, I was just one of the clerks. One of the clerks who was blessed with being able to do the business. So I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse, but you know, if we go out together, we're going to die together that night, or we're going to live together that night. But I'll be there no matter what happens to us. You know what I'm saying? You won't see me running down the block when the trouble starts, if that means anything to you. I'm pretty steadfast. Well, die with your boots on if you're going to go. Now, there is this Titanic, women and children first, the men, the captain goes last, the band didn't even go. I'm sorry. Get off that board, bitch. I'll take that woman, toss her off the boat, jump in that boat, and save my life like that. There's that side of me, too. I don't want to hear jack shit about women first. Out the way, bitch. Get off my board. DiCaprio letting his girlfriend have that board. Get out of here. I would have tossed it to the sharks. Oh, yeah. It's really hard to find people that have been raised with a backbone these days. New lows silver, new lows gold. I told you it doesn't look good. Let's go look at them again. New lows silver, new lows gold. That's T bonds. That doesn't look any better either. Something's happening, kids. Listen, this is me. Something's happening. There's something going on that we haven't been told yet. I'll tell you why. You got this happening in bonds. You got this happening in the S&P. where it's failing at a spot where it should have broken out. Metals are doing even weirder stuff. Silver is literally falling out from that bear flag now. Oh, I forgot this stupid camera was in the way. Let me move that, kids. I'm sorry. Okay, whenever you're ready to give me control. It needs a moment. All right, we'll leave the camera where it is then. If you look, it's already reacting to the bear flag. You see that? You see that reaction right there? That's not good even slightly. Then you got gold. Gold has found a new area where it can't get above, which used to be the red line. But now it's not quite the red line anymore. It's not quite the red line anymore. It's not quite the red line anymore. See how gold is making lower high. I'm just pointing out a simple way to show you lower highs, lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high. It's basically the same thing. Those two things are one and the same. China is killing silver paper trading, forcing 140% margins. They did that in gold last week. Now, here's the problem with anything trading in silver, gold, stocks in China. Do you see how they just turn stuff on and turn it off? Gold market on, gold market off. You're allowed to trade crypto, not anymore, not past tomorrow, no more crypto. Yeah, I mean, how could you live in a country where the government just turns on industries and turns them off? There used to be, if you remember, there used to be, even in our country, a whole bunch of schools where you could send your children after school where they can, sit with their tutor. Well, the tutoring schools. In one day, China went, starting Monday, if there's a tutoring school in this country, you're in big trouble. Close them down. If you got them in the rest of the world, get rid of them there too. No more tutoring schools. Overnight. Boom. You can't do business in a country like that. Not if you could do it here instead. I understand they're going to use the Hong Kong clearinghouse, but you have to trust China. Who can trust China? That's always going to be an issue. You cannot trust these people. Look at crude making new highs. Look at this. Let's go look at crude. New highs all day long, by the way. Crude's been making new highs all day long. It's the first time it's acting different in a while. That's what I'm saying. Something's afoot. Something's going on out there. We haven't been told yet, but there's something happening. AN saying, can you believe how many young adults think communism is good? How do you not see what's happening before your eyes? The people from every country that has failed came here because they were in a communist country and communism failed. Why on earth do you think we should try that? I mean, can people be that stupid? Let's say we didn't see communism fail in most of the countries it was in, then I can understand maybe it's better. When you read a book that is factually proven. And at the end of the book, it tells you things that happened. Do you close the book and go, nah, that's not the truth? Meanwhile, it's fact checked, it's facts, it's world history, fact book. Do you just close it and go, nah, that's not the truth? What I think is the truth, not what I read. Too bad they fact checked it. If I think of it, then it's right. This is what people think. You know what I'm saying? They think they went to school for an extra 4 years or whatever their schooling is. And now that they're out of school, they think because they thought of it. It's worse with traders, by the way. Because I thought of it, it has to be right. Like you could solve the world's problems because you came up with an idea. Oh, really? You find yourself that smart, huh? Trading, it's even worse. There are people, the higher you're educated, the more you think because you thought of it, you must be right. And the rest of us are just plain stupid. We're just plain stupid. And I promise you that makes the more educated people way more stupid than the ones they're calling stupid in this business. When it comes to trading, you have to drop that education and recognize that the market is smarter than you, the charts are smarter than you, the people before you who are trying to figure this out, they were smarter than you too. because you're not doing brain surgery. That's what you went to school for, brain surgery. And when you're in the operating room and you're opening someone's brain, you are the smartest guy in the room. You take that brain surgeon and put him in the trading industry, and he is not the smartest guy in the room anymore. But they don't know that. They all have trouble. Lawyers, they make the worst traders. So, anyway, these people think that communism works while they watch it not work. Venezuela just failed recently, like as recently as last year. And people don't remember that country's communism didn't work either. Who would want to live in Russia? Would you want to live in Russia? Would you want to live in China? Would you have wanted to live in Venezuela? That's communism. I mean, who would want that if you have a choice not to have it? It's just crazy. The kids today they seem to believe in more of the mob mentality than their own education. And what their eyes see makes things way more real than the rhetoric that they hear. And I'm not talking about what you read on the internet. That's not what your eyes see. That's the bullshit you read on the internet. What your eyes see is the stuff that you literally see and hear and make a picture of, but didn't read it yourself. You know what I mean? That's the stuff that makes more sense, if you ask me, than the shit that we read. Unless you're a crazy person. Well, crazy is crazy. What's the next industry to become popular? That is a great question. Oscar, now that we see semiconductors and memory stocks are falling back from their highs, what do you what do you project is the next industry to become popular? Physical AI. Write it down. Physical AI is your answer. Not AI that you speak to, AI that does stuff. You know that Roomba that we've all used for so long, that piece of crap Roomba? When that is AI, that's not going to be a piece of crap anymore. Physical AI, things that operate on their own without human involvement, is the next big thing. Now that I said it, look it up, and you'll go, Oscar, how do you know these things? Just look it up. That is the next thing coming our way. I mean, AI girlfriends, could you imagine a girlfriend that doesn't argue with you about anything? About nothing at all? The birth rate would just stop in this country. Well, AI, all right, so you must understand AI is only as good as the information you ask of it, and it doesn't have a soul and it doesn't have a humanality, and it can't actually figure stuff out in the way we can. What it can do is put facts together and come out with a pretty intelligent interpretation of the facts it built. The problem is it doesn't understand what factual is from fiction and nonfiction and you name it. Was it written as a sci-fi book movie or is it factual? It has a big problem understanding the difference between the two. So what AI ends up doing, we go to Google, we search on AI. AI goes to the rumor pool. What's the rumor pool? All the sites on the internet that aren't fact checked that AI goes through, comes up with an answer, gives you that answer, and all it's done was scan the rumor pool for rumors to give you a synopsis of the rumors. All right, that's that's what our internet is today. Because you can't fact check all the stuff on the internet, and AI doesn't understand right from wrong. It's never been taught touching a flame is hot. It's never had its hand slapped for lying. It's not human. It's got to learn over years and years of getting in trouble by its programmers for saying things that'll take years. Humans, you get taught once, twice, you understand it's over, you know? Um, Actually, I don't think so. No, I mean we've tried to use AI with Omni, but more for scans than anything else. Because I wrote Omni in a way. Let's step this back for a moment. The question is, can AI learn the Omni? I wrote Omni in a way. I was a computer programmer, programming in binary code, zeros and ones, before there was a Bill Gates putting out any of his software, before, Steve Jobs had an Apple on your desk, I was programming in zeros and ones, knowing the computer age would one day show up. When I got to the trading floor, the computers you weren't able to get your hands on them yet to have one on your desk, but I did get my hands on technical analysis and became an analyst. Then computers came in, and my computing knowledge and my analysis knowledge made me recognize two things. A, it's possible to build a system. B, it's possible to build one that only humans can run and can never actually be put on disk or anything of that nature. So I kind of built it with that in mind when I was a kid. Let's think for the future. Let's think for when programs get smarter and smarter and computers are doing the thinking for us. Can we create something that a computer would shake its head and go, I don't know how to do that. Only humans can do it? And the Omni is sort of like that. If you've been to Omni Camp, you would totally understand what I'm saying right now. So I built it in a way where I can, without a computer, I can run Omni. Without the internet, I can run Omni. If there was no internet, there'd be no trading. But if there was access to trading and no internet, I can run Omni on a piece of paper and a pencil with calculations. So, but I have made it in a way where I don't know if I can program it. So, what I mean by that is I don't think it's capable of being programmed by anything I've known about programming. It's because of the way I built it on purpose. Computer algorithms are in the charts. Everything's in the chart. What is the difference if we add computer algorithms to trading or if we add AI to trading? It's still going to be in the chart. You will see new patterns. All right, so AI now, when the AI, you can tell when AI traded because the chart does da instead of do. So what? What's the difference? Just add more stuff. It doesn't. So I'm sitting from a spot where after 45 years of watching every invention under the sun get thrown at us since the 80s, it hasn't changed the market at all. It hasn't changed the Omni at all. I haven't made a change to my Omni since the 80s. New high in crude every minute. There's a new high in crude. Every minute. Did anything else happen in the Middle East? New low in silver, new low in gold, new high in crude. Like as I'm ticking my finger, it happens tick after tick. They're killing it now. Do you guys see it? Hold on. Let me move this stupid picture out of the way and then you can see it. Okay, crude oil is here. Open is the top line. The high, the second line. The low, the third line. The T, the last price. And the net change. Is it up or down from yesterday, today, and vice versa? So that's what you're looking at. And you've got gold, silver, crude oil. See these two making new lows? When it lights up, it's a new low. New low, new low. And this guy's going to light up when it makes a new high in just about a moment. So for 2 days or 3 days, you've asked me about silver and gold. And for 3 days, I pointed charts to you that said they were ugly bearish. And you see what's happening? Silver's down $2.18. Gold down $55. See how it lit up again? New high in crude. New low, new low, new high. So the charts don't lie, right? It's just a matter of us interpreting them correctly. That's all we got to do is interpret them correctly. If we get that part right, we get this right because the charts don't lie. We interpret them incorrectly sometimes, but the charts are never wrong. New low in T-bonds. Oh, that's not good. New low in bonds. New low in 10-year notes. Something is afoot. Remember, you heard this today. You heard me mention this 3 or 4 times today. Something is going on out there. You can tell by market movement that something is going on. I don't know if it's going to be the biggest news, but something's happening that we haven't heard about yet. Just look at this market movement. It is incorrect compared to a usual day. There's something not right about it. It smells wrong. Maybe. People back from vacation could literally be that. But people couldn't get crude to go higher. That's an event taking place. It's not just crude. The dollar is soaring. All the indices are making new lows. The metals are making new lows. Our indices are making new lows, as well as currencies. Well, not new lows, but pressing towards. Currencies making new lows. Bonds making new lows. Something's amiss. Bitcoin will start to join in next because I didn't get out because I don't know how to read charts. I got out of Bitcoin because I do know how to read charts. And of course, I'll get back in if it goes higher, but something tells me we'll be under 59 in Bitcoin in a couple of days. Yep, it could be leaked at Fed. Well, again, it's an event. It's something happened. Crude's still making new highs. Something happened. There's something going on somewhere. Trump will make an announcement or something will blow up somewhere. We're going to find out something. Something is amiss. So if it was a flight to quality, you'd have gold going up, dollars going up, and bonds going up. You have the opposite of that in bonds and gold. So it's not a flight to quality. Something else is going on. Another new low in silver and gold. Look at them light up. Bam, bam, bam. Every tick's a new low. Just trying to be patient with those two and wait all day. Figure we get a trade tonight. But now they're just falling apart. NQ down 663. So we hear about the U.S. reserves being depleted, right? In one way, and you're not misquoting. You are correct. How is it possible that we have any worry on the planet about crude here? We have so much of it. There's so much of it. We have so many ways to get to it. All right, so we spent 4 years with our president saying when you're not allowed to shale and you're not allowed to expand, but they have been. I wouldn't worry about crude as far as us having enough of it. I think that's just stuff they put out to add to the panic. Well, the pandemic was the best scare tactic ever engineered in the history of mankind. The whole world shut down. That was really well planned. You got to give it to them. Those whoever came up with the idea to begin with, China and whoever in the U.S. decided it was a good idea. Total geniuses. They did something no one's ever seen. They shut the whole damn world down. I think my assessment was they were hoping that it would kill everyone, including the president of the United States at that point in time, or at least make it where during his presidency the country was wrecked, so he won't be president again. I think that was sort of directed at the leader of our country, that whole thing, because the Chinese president made a statement right after the pandemic started, and he said, 4 years I'm going to own the United States. Just give me 4 years. That didn't go well, did it? Tucker, we're Americans. Are you kidding me? F this world. You don't like us being Americans? Kiss our asses. It's who we are. I don't mind that people hate us because of who we are. You know what? Kiss my ass, people. I didn't ask to be born here. I was born here. I'm proud to be an American. How about you? I'm proud to be a male, white American in this country. How much luckier could you damn get? Right? Could you get any luckier than that on the planet? This is the perfect spot to be born. Lotto. Healthy brain, a male in America, you hit lotto. I've been telling that to my son since he's a little boy. Mike, if you're ever depressed, you ever worried about how life's going and things aren't right for you at the moment, just always remember you could have been born in Indonesia with with something wrong with you to a parent that didn't even want you and you live under a tree. You know what I'm saying? Look at where you were born. You were born a healthy male American. Are you kidding me? You're blessed already. What's an NDAA? What's that mean, one way? Well, the beautiful thing about COVID and what happened afterwards was we found out where all the bullshit was happening. We're finding out. As you just mentioned, MCM's a beautiful thing. What effect did COVID have on Social Security? Their findings were counterintuitive. Premature deaths during the pandemic reduced future Social Security obligations by 205 billion. We also then found out that we were paying a few hundred billion a year to dead people who were dead for 75 years. It actually helped us clean up a lot of the red tape mess. So some good came from COVID. So what country are we aligned with that's rubbing you wrong one way? Right now, I think the administration that we have in charge, they ain't aligned with any country but their own. Trump don't seem to be in line with anybody but the U.S. I think we were aligned with China while we had the other guy in office, but Trump doesn't seem to be lined up with anybody. What Congress do now? That's a never-ending chapter in a book. One way, what they do at this moment. All right, do my own research. Why not share? I spend my life doing research. I'll do more. Why not share? I, they always do something, Tucker. One way was just saying, you might want to look at what Congress just did with the U.S. They're always doing something. Which one of these things are you referring to that's not good? Which one of the ugly things have they done one way? So one way, the way you're typing in a way, the way it would be interpreted, either you don't actually know what you're talking about or you don't want to share. Because just putting in acronyms that don't mean anything, either you don't want to share or you're not quite sure what they mean. And I think you know what they mean. I think you know exactly what they mean. Ah, yes, and I do know what that is, by the way. Well, I shouldn't say I know what it is. I remember some wrangling over it, but I don't know what's in it. But here's the thing, one way. Are you planning on running for assembly in your neighborhood and then moving up to a congressman and maybe somehow getting into DC as a senator and making some changes? Because if you're not planning on doing that, then you should probably spend more time not fighting this fight for either side. This isn't against you. These politicians wouldn't give you the time of day. They wouldn't argue for you. They wouldn't argue for your family. They wouldn't take your side against me if you and I were in an argument, and they wouldn't give you a dollar unless they were forced to. So don't spend a lot of time defending either politician on either side of the aisle, which I try not to. Pelosi might for a stock tip. You know what I'm saying? Now, I say this about sports as well. Up until I hit my mid 20s, mid to later 20s, 27, 28, I realized I'd spend so much time arguing with people over somebody in sports that I thought was better than the person that they were saying, or they'd insult the guy. And I realized one day, I went, hold on a moment. If, forget about who, I took any one of the stars that we buy their shirts and we buy their tickets and we talk about them watching their games and we brag about their stats, and you get into an argument with a friend of yours about some athlete. Now, you're in front of the stadium a year later. That athlete's coming out of the locker room, he's coming out of the stadium door, he's walking towards his car. You walk over to him and you say, "Hey, man, I worship you. I've bought your sneakers and your t-shirts. I've spent so much money on tickets to your games, and I argue with people all the time. I tell them you are the best in the world, but I've got an issue. I pay my taxes. I'm a guy. I do the right thing. I got 3 kids, a wife. This month I can't afford my mortgage. I need $3,500. Would you give me $3,500 for my mortgage? Find the politician or find an athlete that would hand you that money. He'd get in his car and drive over you before he'd hand you the money, right? So why defend these assholes that would never give that much for you? So make sure you don't get into any fights with anybody you know over politicians or athletes, because these people wouldn't do the same for you, not for a moment. No matter what you think, they wouldn't do the same for you. So I have learned to, I tell my friends when they fight with their friends about politics, I go, are you out of your mind? Whether you like Trump, like the other guy, hate the other guy, what? Why would you argue with your friends over someone who wouldn't help you this much if he's seen you in the street starving? So, anyway, if you're not a politician, and you spend your life writing about the bad stuff that the politicians do, that makes you part of the problem, not part of any part at all of the solution. Anyone that bitches and moans and bitches and moans and types and bitches and moans, that makes you part of the problem, not the solution. So either run for some kind of office and fix your neighborhood, or worry about yourselves and F these people who wouldn't help you for a moment. That's my take on that. I wouldn't stick up for, and I don't stick up for politicians, and I don't stick up for athletes for no how. I don't even stick up for my Jets. And I've been following them, watching them lose since I'm a baby. You see, you are steeped in politics while you're here in a trading room where we should be speaking about the markets. See my point, one way? You're giving them too much of your time. Don't give them that much of your time. They don't deserve it. They win if we give them too much of our time. Now, that doesn't mean you don't pay attention and you don't go vote. You do that. But you can't spend your life angry because of what these lunatics do. They win. They just win. They wouldn't, Blackhawks types, they wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. And he is correct. So for you to even lose an Omniac friend over a politician is crazy because they wouldn't be fighting for you right now. So let's see. NASDAQ and the 50. Is that what you're talking about? But you're saying the EMA on the 50, right, Tommy? The EMA on the 50. No, 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 no. I meant just elaborate on what that was about. I'm not complaining to you one way. I'm just offering advice to everybody. This is not directed at you. I'm just mentioning advice to everybody. If we give them, if you get into fights with people over the people who wouldn't do that for you, you're fighting for the wrong cause. You know what I'm saying? Same people wouldn't help us out. So I don't fight for them. I fight for my Omniacs, for my family, for the markets, for market knowledge. I don't fight for politicians, nor do I fight for especially athletes. Well, I should say especially politicians. I'd rather fight for an athlete than a politician. I'd rather give some credence to an athlete over a politician. So I'm not saying not to speak about politics. You can't let them make you angry. Once they make you angry, they've won. Then they win. They put you on a side once you get angry, you know? So anyway, we were talking about the NASDAQ a moment ago. Let me just see, because I don't use the EMA, because why? Why put a shift on it? Um, NASDAQ. Let's see what a 50 SMA does on the NASDAQ. I think mine is better. I think I'll go with mine instead. Um, well, we did talk about that earlier. It's a little bit insane that the kids today think communism might actually be a good thing when history, while their parents are alive, shows that it won't be. But I don't know what to do about that, kids. I'm not a politician. There was no reason for that. That was from another chart, to be honest, Dom. That was from a different chart. Just seemed to work really well on the Nasdaq, so I put it there. That was for the S&P. Worked better on the S&P. Look, that was what we were using on the S&P about a week ago back here. Then it worked really well. So it was just sitting on the chart, and I keep putting other charts on top of that chart. So it's just an average sitting there that didn't really belong on the other charts. Do you get that? Cool. Yeah, so here, just so that you don't get confused, let me do this again for you. Right now, I have. We're going to turn this into any average. Let's just make this anything in the world. Let's make this a 100, just to make it a 100. So let's call this a 100 bar average. See where it sits on this chart? This is the S&P. If I call Nasdaq, that stupid average is just going to be sitting there now on Nasdaq. And if I call gold, it's that same stupid average, which has nothing to do with the other charts. I don't know why it doesn't disappear, but it'll just stay on my chart. A little bit stupid, but I work with it. And you were looking at the 50, which doesn't really do much for this chart at the moment, but that was on the NASDAQ that you were looking at it. No, no, Dami, I just tried to explain to you that those are averages that are sitting on a different chart. It's just one average that's on a blank chart. Every time I throw another chart on, the average should disappear. It sits there anyway. So, no, I don't do that. I use whatever averages I think the street is using. Because if you did that, then you'd be fooling yourself, Dalmi. In other words, then you'd be finding averages that only work for you, because you invented it in your brain. I try to use what I think the street is using. In other words, I would never want a system that just I use. It wouldn't work. I want a system that mostly handled by Wall Street. They use most of it themselves. So, in other words, I don't know why the 200 and the 50 bar moving average work, but Wall Street loves it. So do I. I wouldn't want to use a 22 average if Wall Street's not using it because why? You know what I'm saying? Self fulfilling prophecies. So I try to stay with just the main averages. And then if I notice that the average is shifting because Wall Street's using it a different way, I try to figure out what it is they're using. But no, I don't just keep changing averages till I get to the bottom of a bar. That would be kidding yourself. In other words, it'd be like lying to yourself if you did that. Confirmation bias. In fact, one of the tenements about technical analysis is to not do things like that, to not create stuff that only looks good to you, that it doesn't work in the real markets. Absolutely, I just stay with the mainstream. So in other words, if they like the 102.87.526 average, that's the one I would use. You know what I mean? Whatever it is the street likes. This is a reaction to news. Every bit of what we're seeing today on this board is a reaction to news. Something more than just that tanker. That meant something else. Something somewhere is a brew. Something's amiss. Maybe we're raising rates. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the Fed's gonna raise rates. Maybe we're seeing some of that. Actually, that would make sense Looking at this board I'm looking at right now, finding out that there's rumors that we're going to raise rates, that board suddenly makes sense to me. But we don't know that that rumor exists, so I can't use it. But this board looks like a board that's going to raise rates. However, if you guys were with me last month, I said the same darn thing last month. I said, if you look at these charts and you look at everything we're looking at, they're raising rates before they lower them. Now I'm saying it again, so obviously I'm seeing it in something. See what I did there? See, we can get it all back to trading somehow. Do communists make good traders? See what I did there? We could get politics and bring it right in. So let me think about that. I went to Russia. All right, so I had a friend, an Omniac, find me on the internet, Sergey Stepanenko out of Moscow. Oscar, I think I built a system. Interesting, you built a system. I'm coming to see that system, open up an account, start trading it. If I like what I see, I'll come to Russia. Opens an account. I liked what I seen for 6 months. Off to Russia I went. He built himself a very, very good system. He traded the S&P. One of the problems with most systems is you only get about a 5-year lifespan out of any system before the markets have completely morphed into something new. When the system started on point A, by the time you get 5 years later to point D, the market has morphed into something and the system stops. Right? We usually see about 5 years out of a system. Excuse me. He tested it for a year and a half. I tested it for a year and a half. We had 3 years testing already. Started bringing in money, and the system started working. So I flew to Russia, hung out with him for a while. Then I flew him back and made him live on Staten Island in New York with me. Because if we're going to run a system out of Russia, I am not running a system out of Russia. I'm bringing the Russian to America, where if anyone's going to jail, we're all going to jail, not just me. You know what I'm saying? If I'm running something out of Russia and something goes wrong, I'm standing here going, I didn't know. Not happening. So I brought him with me. Turns out it's nothing more than just a pure trading system built on charts. He had a nice system. The thing about his system is it got out at the end of the day in the S&P. Every single day it got out at the close, and it was right way more than wrong. And we started bringing in money, and we brought in money for a year because we've tested it for 3 years now, a little over 3. Brought in money for the 4th year, worked really well. Into the 5th year, I watched it not make money for 4 days in a row, and I went, okay, different. I watched it not make money for another few trades that it usually made money on, and I called everybody I knew that I put money in that system and said, hey, as far as I'm concerned, that system's gone, broken. I'm sending you your money back. If we stumble upon a new system, we'll put you back in. And I sent everyone their money back. And Sergey, who made a good trader, wasn't very good at making decisions. He didn't understand that even though he gave birth to his little trading program, so it was the baby in his belly, the baby has passed. The baby is gone. It's not your baby. It was just a program that you wrote, and it stopped working. Markets have changed. He couldn't understand that because to most programmers, when they program and program and program, it comes to life. Once it comes to life, to them, it's almost like a mom giving birth, and they feel like they own this program. In fact, a lot of times we have trouble hiring programmers because once they finish the program, it works so well, they feel like they own it. When meanwhile, it's your brainchild, you just use his fingertips, right? So Sergey was a very good trader and a very good programmer, but he wasn't good at recognizing it is time to stop beating the dead horse. So I sent everyone's money back when they all were up, 50, 80, 90%. Everybody had made good money. And he just kept trading that system until all the money was gone. All his customers' money was gone. All of his money was gone, and he was broke. So, yeah, I think they make good traders, but they don't make good long-term decisions. And look at Russia. It's in the exact spot that would make you think that their personality is such that they make good quick decisions, but they don't make really good long-term decisions. Because look at the shape they're in compared to us. They've been around longer. So they're not good on long-term decisions, but they must make good day traders, from my experience. If that means anything, I don't know. Have we checked my coin? I haven't checked it in a while. It's all right. It's still doing its thing. Coin looks good, kids. I'd advise you to get in because we're going to 10x this bad boy. If you didn't get in, and you know me by now, if you're not listening, you're not listening. Make sure you guys get in the Omni token. We've got really big plans. So 72.51 high in crude, 7,200 now. Uh, Gold stopped pressing on the lows. It's up $17 off its low. Silver's up 65 cents. Oh my God, that used to take 6 months when I was in the pit to move. Silver's up 65 cents since the lows. Can't believe I'm saying that sentence, but I am. Grain sector's been having a little bit of a sticking its head up there and trying to see what's going on, sniffing for air. Well, Rossi, that's what makes a market. You see how you've rationalized that, oh, Oscar, you call it an interest rate rise. It's probably because of the bombing. Me and you could both be so far off, or we could both be right, or one of us could be right. That's what makes these markets. That's what makes them so exciting. You might be right. I might be right. We both might be wrong. Hooray, let's do it again tomorrow. Isn't that cool? It's the only job you'll ever have where every day is as exciting as the day before, if not more exciting, because something new will happen every day, even though you went to the same place. It's new every day. In other words, it's like working at Disney World and your job is to test the rides, except for every morning when you show up, there's a new roller coaster you haven't seen before. What a job, right? That's what trading is. Every day, something new happens. So things happen in the world, and traders surmise what that means. I'm trying to figure out what this board means in front of a whole bunch of Omniacs listening, right? We're just a little sector of the market. And then, of course, Rossi Angel's trying to figure out what that means and another sector of the market. Every day, just different stuff, different news, different everything, different movement, reasons why it moved are different. It's an exciting place to go to work. But that is what makes a market. You're absolutely right, Rossi. Yes, that very well could be because of what our response would be. But now my thinking is our response wouldn't be to bomb them back. Our response should be show it to the world and say, look what they've done once again. How much did that just cost your country in crude, in the price of crude going up? How many billions did that just cost you? Show what they did, show the damage to the ship, and then ask the world, how long would you like me to keep my patience before I capture this thing and give it to the world? Should I let Iran continue? All right, we'll let them continue. And you let them bomb another ship. And eventually the world will ask Trump to put an end to the nonsense. I think that's all we're seeing right now. This is literally a political play to make sure that the world doesn't call us bullies by taking over that strait until they ask us to. And then we will. Uh, Hamish says you are both wrong. Of course, joking, but maybe he's not wrong about joking. Maybe he's right, which is what makes markets so cool. Um, the market will. The market fell from the rebound. WTI surged on the 10-year jump, all right on the Treasury Department's news 30 minutes ago. Well, that's what I was saying, MCM. We don't. I don't think Trump's actually negotiating. He's just letting them hang themselves. And when they've done enough damage, and the world finally says, Please make that straight wider. We'll make the straight wider. Hopefully, that's the plan. Make the straight wider by 500 miles, and a lot of this goes away. Dig it out, make it wider. Oh, Dalmi, I have a one-word answer for you. Well, two words. That's why we're consolidating sideways. We ran up pretty strong, as you mentioned, up till April. Summertime gives us time to finish the year. Do you think the boys are just going to let this year go without a bonus? You think a coordinated big shot's coming, MCM? Well, certainly setting up for something, for sure. For sure, there's a setup here. On purpose, that was supposed to be. On purpose, I meant to say. So, Ethereum is down, Solana's down, Bitcoin is up just a teeny bit. The cryptos don't seem to care. Dollar went up and everything just got scared. Yeah, they do the latency on purpose. I set it to the fastest possible, but they don't seem to let us play it real time. Let me see. Let me just check that setting. Oh yeah, it's absolutely set to low latency. Guitar gave him a plane. So you're talking about why did Guitar give the U.S. a plane? Because it's embarrassing that the U.S. orders a plane and it won't be ready for 10, 12 years. So Guitar says, we build them for all the heads of states, for everyone in the world except for you guys. We build them for the heads of states of the UK, for you name it, they come to us, we build those planes. So we can build one for you, get it ready in your hands, way cheaper and sooner than anything the US is going to put out. The president won't even be president by the time you give him a plane. We'll give him one. And what they did was, as soon as it got brought back to the US, it was taken apart down to the teeniest toothpick, made sure that it was everything it was supposed to be, put back together, and well, bam, the US has a new plane. Would have taken us 10 years to give them a plane. So they do build them for everybody. And what happened was, why it showed up later than it should have come here, we should have gotten this about 2 months ago. The interior design company went bankrupt while they were building the inside of that plane. And that's what caused the delays. Well, they took it apart, MCM, they took it down literally. They dismantled it down to the wires and put it back together, because what are you going to do if someone else gives you a plane and not do that? I'd have to assume that everything that can be changed was changed out, and everything else was taken apart and examined down to, microscopes. Because could you imagine taking a plane from another country and letting your head of state be on that plane? I mean, could you just imagine? So I think that had something to do with it. I think they were just trying to show that, it's kind of embarrassing that the U.S. can't give their own president a plane. We'll supply it. Now, what they get in return for that, I don't know. Trump does make deals. But it doesn't help the price of silver today, that's for sure. How did those guys end up? Towards the end of the day, both gold and silver pretty bad, huh? Oh, yeah. Ugly. So Mason, I only use charts to come up with whether I like silver or gold. I don't use fundamentals. I don't use the news. I don't use what people say on the street, because it all comes out on the chart anyway. So I would confuse myself if I used anything but the chart. You have a great day. Ciao. I'll see you tomorrow. So we do this every day, and I'm live in my regular trading room always. Not always on camera, but it's always open and live if you need to find me. All right. So make sure you buy your Omni tokens before you miss a chance of a lifetime. Omni Phoenix or the Omni PHX. And make sure you join my trading room, which I just made disappear. Make sure you join my trading room so that you can hang out with us at all times. It's free, no credit cards are required, and when I'm not streaming on social networking, I am live here where I can play music and have more fun and not get myself in trouble for playing music. It is 3:56, 4 minutes till the close. And I think if we all collectively wrote to YouTube and asked them to put a sound in on this silly chat room so that you can tell when people write, it would be so helpful. Oh, and congratulations. Congratulations on the England win. That was cool to see. That was a fun game. Hiya. Get my lunch break in 3 minutes. I don't always eat lunch, but I take the break. 10-year notes on the low, 30-year bonds on the low. That's never healthy. Hey, what's the next game? I see them queuing up for it. Who's playing who next? Do we know? Now that the U.S. is out, I don't know nothing about it. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Hello. What's up? Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. So, just can you? I am on 3 live networks. Can you give me 2 minutes? Yes. Okay. Bye. Bye. So Lisa went in for pre-testing. You know what they told her? Where's the damn $5,000? We're not even pre-testing it till we get it. I gotta go call it in. They're so bad. It's Switzerland versus Colombia. They want the copay before they'll even pre-test her. How did we get here? And of course, I spend $2,000-3,000 a month for my medicals, and with the $10,000 deductibles and everything else they do to us, how did we end up here? It's insane the way our medical works. New low in bonds, and the market's just closed. I got it. All right, let me go take care of Miss Lisa. They're holding Miss Lisa hostage until I send them $5,000. Let me go do that. What dickheads, huh? Seriously? Like she's not going to go through with the surgery? This is just for the pre-testing. You're supposed to pay this before the day of the surgery, which is Thursday. They won't even pre-test her unless I go pay. What assholes. I have to laugh. What you got for us, buddy? New York City high-rise evacuated after construction workers find floors caving in. Beams buckling. Ouch. East 235 East 42nd. I know exactly where that is. Holy cow. That shit's buckling. Te digo que eso no soporta nada. Pero boom, ¿no? ¡Ah! just say get out? Because that's what I would have been saying. Everybody out. You don't get a lot of time with a buckling building. All right, let me go help Miss Lisa. All right, kids, stops are in, emotions are out, and I'm out of here. I'll see you guys for analysis at 5 o'clock. Got to go take care of Miss Lisa.